Hi, and welcome to my In the Bag for the 2022 disc golf season, at least the start of the season. I am still throwing only trilogy discs, primarily Lat 64. I think there are 4 discs in my bag that are from Dynamic or Westside. But yeah, I am still using a Dynamic Discs Ranger bag. Fantastic bag. It was, definitely check it out. So I've got, I think I have like 6 minis and or juniors within this bag. I've got my hand drying sack thing. Always have a towel, snacks, bug spray, rule book. I just got Rip to Revenge. Haven't played it yet, but have it. Pencils, and then a Sharpie, Biofreeze, and a hand cream. Just in case you need something like that on the course. So going up in speed. So starting with putting putters, I putt with the Latitude 64 Royal Faith. These specific ones I haven't thrown yet, but I have been putting with the Faiths since their Swedish release, in fact. Started using, once they released them in Sweden, I ordered some to ship to the US because I knew it'd be faster than waiting for the US release, and I was practicing with prototypes at that point. So, really comfortable putter. 2301 are the flight numbers on it. It's a neutral putter, beadless, but nice beveled edge to rest the finger on here that I find super comfortable. I have so many Sense Faiths. Sense is the royal plastic for putters. So I'm comfortable switching over to these new ones now. The other ones are just starting to get a little too beat in. And those are 173 grams. I do also throw 2 Faiths, both a prototype and a first run. The prototype is getting quite flippy at this point. The first run and any standard Faith out of once you get it new will not turn over. You can crush into it. It's torque resistant. Whereas this prototype one, I can hyzer flip now. It's my understable putter, and this, like I said before, it's a very neutral flying putter. Really comfortable grip, just like it is for putting. Super consistent flight. Like I said, I won't accidentally turn over this first run one. If I'm throwing this one, then I want to turn over. Prototype is 173. The first run is 174, so no big difference there in weight. And then the only other putter I bag is a harp. This one is a Cody White, Team Westside. He's a local pro, super cool guy. Runs a lot of events in my area. If you're throwing Trilogy, you're throwing a harp, and if you're not throwing Trilogy, you're throwing another disc that's similar to a harp. Just overstable approach disc, 4303. Super comfortable for the little forehand chip shot. I prefer BT hard. This is in Origio, but I couldn't find a BT hard one after my other one got super beat in. Just look at the damage along the side there. Just took too many hits because I throw it a lot. And I tried a BT medium, but it's not as comfortable. It's too soft for me. So I'm using the Origio one right now. I used to use Origio a lot for a harp, but it beats in so fast that you have to switch out frequently. So I'm kind of looking for a new BT hard one, and while I do, I'm going to be using this Origio one. So that's all the putters. And then getting into the mids, like you saw with the Fates, I'm focusing on cutting down to as few molds as I can, which is something that like a lot of people recommend. So as such, I am bagging 3 Royal Trusts as my main mids. This one is the most flippy. The first run Royal Trust is definitely less stable than the prototype, and this was the first run one I was using. So I've done this one quite a bit and got it quite beat in. Then I have my prototype one, which is pretty straight flying at this point. And then the current most overstable one, which isn't actually all that overstable, but consistent, is this one. They're all in the grand plastic for the Royal discs. They're all 177 grams. So this one, I'll hyzer flip, get some nice turnovers out of. This one just flies straight with a nice reliable finish. And this one is more stable, so I can flex it a little bit or throw it straight when I need a harder finish than the prototype. So those are my main mids, and then the last mid I have is just for utility. I have a Lucid X Chameleon Justice at 173 grams. So the Justice is incredibly overstable. You can see profile here. It's pretty domey. Got a nice bead for a mid. Good, very large bead. The Trust is 5502. The Justice is 51 positive 0.54, I believe. Let me check that. I probably should have had this open already. Discs. 51 positive 0.54. Yeah. And in the Lucid X plastic, it's the most overstable plastic they have. So this thing is just incredibly beefy. It's utility shot. I'll use it for some skip shots, some crazy flex shots if I'm off the fairway or whatever. Just doesn't come out of the bag often, but when it does exactly what I want it to. Next up, we have a Latitude 64 Opto Glimmer Mall. Mall is an understable fairway driver. This one is 176 grams. Again, pretty pop-toppy. I haven't thrown the Mall much. It's an understable mid, coming in at 7.7 minus 2.1. I'm testing this out to replace the Underworld right now, because I like that it's more glidey, and my Underworld is super beat in, so it's basically a roller disc at this point. So I'm trying to see if this works instead. But the few throws I've had with it, it's been done just a reliable glide right and stay in the air for a really long time, because 7 glide isn't something you see every day. Next up, we have the newest Royal disc. We have the Royal Glory. I have the prototype one from the Royal Box 4. Little bit of dome, but not that significant. This is 175 grams. Don't know the flight numbers for this yet because it's just the prototype, but it's an overstable 7 speed. Super comfortable. It has almost a bead here instead of here, which is interesting, but definitely comfortable. I'm really liking this thing. Just ripping into it flat, full power. It just holds flat for a long time, and then we'll get the nice late fade and decent skip. So it's definitely put in some work for me so far. in the limited time I've had to throw it. And just the grand plastic is fantastic. I love all the royal discs. You'll see as I keep going. I bag all of them except the Hope, which the Hope is very similar to the Faith. Next up, we have the next overstable fairway, which is a Moonshine Pioneer. Moonshine is the almost the competitor for with Lucid X / Opto X for the most overstable plastic. I think Opto X is more overstable, but Moonshine is a close second. This is 176 grams, and the Pioneer is a 9304, so it's another very overstable fairway. I can get some nice flex shots out of this. This one is super flat, so it's great for both backhand and forehand. Just a nice overstable fairway again. Won't get quite as much distance out of this as I do out of the Glory, because the Glory will stay straight for longer. But can get some really nice flex shots out of this. And if I can hit it on the right angle, I could probably get more distance compared to the Glory. I just haven't yet. Then the last fairway in this in my bag is a complete utility disc in the West Side Northman. I don't take this out. I don't even keep it in the same pocket as the rest of the discs. Or I don't often take this out. When I do, it's usually because I'm just in a bad place on the course. This is 167 grams in the tournament plastic. It's a 10.5 minus 1.2, but I am the third owner of it, and this is my first driver. So this thing is incredibly understable at this point. No real dome, actually pretty flat on top. This thing, I'll crush it on almost a spike hyzer angle and still get it to flip up and glide right. It's just incredibly understable, is all I can say about this Northman. But it will always have a spot in my bag because it was my first driver. So sentimental reasons. Next up, we have the Grand Grace, or the Royal Grace. I have two of those. I have the prototype and the special Kristen Tatar version. So the Grace is an understable distance driver. It's kind of like a transition between fairways and distance drivers. It's an 11 speed at 11.6 minus 1.2. So it's understable, but super, understable, but not crazy understable. Nice slow turn, and it's very controllable for a distance driver. This one is pretty flat, the prototype, and the Kristen Tatar one has a little bit more dome, but not significant dome. This one's more beat in, this one is not, so this one's more straight flying, whereas this one will turn over much easier. 173 grams, 175 grams. Next up, we have my one of my favorite almost utility, like quasi utility discs, and my Lucid X Glimmer Sergeant Page Shoe Team Series from this year, or last year, I guess. It's 2022 now. So, like I said before, Lucid X makes it super overstable, and the Sergeant is already an overstable disc. It's another nice flat top. What I found with the Team Series ones is the middle seems to pop a little bit, like right on the nub. This one's 176 grams, and the Sergeant is a 11.40 2.5. So in the other plastics, it's more workable, but this one, it'll just dive on me, which is great on a lot of holes around here. I play a lot of wooded golf, so having something that will consistently dive is pretty good. Just a really comfortable 11 speed. I'm a big fan of this disc, and I've leaned on it quite a few times, like in quite a few rounds, or another one. That's my second one, solely for color reasons, because the other one is a purple that just blends in very well with the background. Next up, I have two first run Royal Rives, both at 175 grams. They both were pink. I dyed this one, and it's gotten really scratched up too. Like, the stamp is mostly gone at this, or partially gone at this point. Not mostly. The Rive is one of, if not my favorite, distance driver. Again, it's in that grand plastic, just like the Graces were. And just like most of the other discs in my bag, I have one that's a lot more beaten than the other. So this dyed one is pretty flippy at this point. The Rive is an overstable 13 speed, looking at 13.503.5. But I've actually been getting them to glide right pretty well, like to turn over pretty well recently. Especially this one. This one holds the turnover, whereas this one will come out of it late. So this one flexes really nicely. Just great max distance driver. Can crush into these things. Get a nice hyzer flip, and they fly great, both backhand and forehand. Super comfortable. It's one of the great things about the Royal discs is how comfortable they feel in the hand, because they don't have the flashing along the rim or the lip. Like, there's no flashing when you hold it along here or here. That's one of the big selling points of the this line. Again, pretty flat, a little bit of dome. So yeah, those are some of my, like, probably my two main drivers. And then stepping up significantly in stability, I have a stiletto, in Opto Glimmer, I think. Glimmer or Chameleon. So this is another just overstable utility disc. It's a 13.3 positive 0.55, incredibly overstable. I can release this on any angle and know that it's gonna fade back hard, either forehand or backhand. Not a super significant dome, but definitely there. Yeah, just super overstable, and it's the one thing it does, and it does it very well. And then the last mold I have two Ballista Pros, one in Opto Air and one in Opto X. So the Opto Air is 159 grams, the Opto X is 174. This is the Albert Tam Team Series from 2021. So Ballista Pro is 14.403, so it's another overstable distance driver. I like overstable discs more, especially for distance, because I feel I can work them more. An understable disc, like, if you throw it as hard as you can, it's never gonna go left. Whereas an overstable disc, you can hyzer flip, you can turn it over if you throw it hard enough. This one I'll turn over because it's light, so it flies quite a distance. This one I can get to flip up a little bit. This one is very domey. But Ballista Pro is just great mold. Similar to the Rive. Like, in that you can crush into it. It's a max distance driver. I don't know which one I actually throw further. I think in just a distance contest, I could probably get this Ballista Pro to go further. Because they always say overstable light discs are the best for that. But on the course, I throw the Rive more often. And this Ballista Pro I use similar to the Stiletto for, like, just flex shots that, like, I need to come back. But I can also get this one to fly straight for a while if I throw max power. So those are the discs I am at least starting the 2022 season with. Let me know what you've got in your bag, and if there's anything you think I should try out. I'll see you guys next time.